the pressure flip. A pressure flip is sort of like an inward heel flip that you flip with your back foot. There's no flicking going on, and not even really popping too much, just a lot of good old pressure, hence the name. This is another one of those tricks that, if you don't know how to do them, they seem pretty weird, but once you understand it, it sort of clicks and it gets kind of easy. I don't really think you need to know much before learning this trick. You might just want to be comfortable riding around on your board and shifting your weight. If you want to, you could learn ollies just so you have a grasp of popping off the tail and staying above your board. Also, one thing that may help just a little bit is learning little shove-its, just because of the vague similarities of scooping from the pocket and jumping to stay above the board. So the only real parts to this trick are the pressured pop, the jump, and the landing. Foot positioning is pretty straightforward with a little bit of leeway for personal preference. This trick is basically all in the back foot. That's where the pressure, the pop, and the rotation all come from. More specifically, it's all kind of in your back big toe, or kind of like in the ball of your foot. Basically, you want to have your foot in the back toe side pocket, with your toes hanging a little bit off the edge of the board, and your foot scooted a little bit closer to being over the back wheel rather than on the tail. Also, angle your back foot so it's facing a little bit forward towards the nose instead of straight. Like I said, this trick is all in the back foot, so I really don't think it matters where you put your front foot. All it really has to do is come up and out of the way. So I like to put mine just right in the center pretty much. And a little side note, I've seen people ask if you need to have tighter trucks in order to do a pressure flip. I keep my trucks just about right in the middle, not too tight or too loose, and it seems to work fine for me. I did try pressure flips on 3 other boards than my own, which have varying degrees of tightness of trucks from kinda tight to really tight, and it worked on all of them. So I really don't think it matters unless they're really loose. So, how do you get the board to flip like this with just your back toe? Well, I'm going to start off by telling you the things that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't be popping straight down off the tail and jumping right away like you would for an ollie or any other kind of flip trick. That's probably going to cause the board to just kind of flip over like this. What you really want to be doing is basically shifting all of your weight to that foot that's right behind your wheel. You kind of start to lean forward and push down on that foot, almost like you're trying to give yourself wheel bite. And take note, you are pressing down with your toe, but you're not snapping off the tail like you would for an ollie. So you press down and you actually kind of scoop your toe into the board to try and get it to do that flipping rotation. So it's all based on that pressure created from your back toe pushing down and inward into your board. Once you understand this kind of pressure pop of the board, the key is to find the sweet spot of how to get the flip. You'll know if your foot is too far back onto the tail, because when you try to do the pressure flip, the board will sort of just flop over backwards. And conversely, you'll know that you're too far onto the flat part of the board if your board is just kind of rolling over. So it's all about finding that nice sweet spot, the balance right between those two. And to do that, it's really just a matter of trial and error. If it's flipping over too far backwards, move your foot towards the pocket more, and if it's flipping over too much to the side, move it over to the back more. Also, you can try this trick stationary just to kind of get the flip. I think it's a little bit harder because I don't have the momentum pushing the board forward. But if you want to try it out, maybe just to get the flip down and land with one foot, then that'll work too. And then once you find that flip, you can practice while moving and still trying to land with just your front foot. So I could tell you all day how to find that sweet spot, but really it's not going to matter if you're not doing the proper pressure flip. So I want to emphasize again, you're really leaning your weight into that back foot on the ball of your foot in the pocket. Your toes are kind of hanging off just a bit over the edge of the board, and you're right behind those back wheels. You can see in these two examples how close my board comes to my wheel right before I pop. I'm basically giving myself wheel bite. And that's because I'm putting all of my weight into my toes right before I jump. So last time, just really take note of my back foot, how it's positioned and turned and where my toes are, and just keep that in your mind. Remember to shift almost all of your weight to that back foot forward on your toes and then pop from there. That's what's going to give you the rotation and the flip. Once you have that, practice over and over to try and find your sweet spot of where to get the board to flip just the right amount. And then once you have that, it's just a matter of giving yourself a little jump forward like you were doing a little shove it and staying on top of the board. So here are a few of my pressure flips. Take note of how my front foot really doesn't do anything other than come up and stay out of the way until it's time to land. I lean my weight over my back foot, press down, and then jump. Once I'm in the air, I let the board flip around and then I put my feet back down. This trick is really all about trial and error, and once you find the sweet spot to get the board to flip, the pressure aspect of it should start to click. So thank you for watching. If I left anything out or you have any further questions, just let me know in the comments below. And besides that, you can like and subscribe if you want.